Ever wished you could just, I don't know, get a shortcut to really understanding a literary classic? Connect the history to why it still matters today. Well, that's pretty much our mission for this deep dive. Okay, let's unpack this. We're exploring Stendhal's big one, his 1830 novel, Le Rouge et le Noir. You probably know it as The Red and the Black.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because this one book, it does two major things brilliantly. First, it's this incredibly deep psychological look at the main character, Julien Sorel, ambitious young guy. And second, it's just a sharp satirical take on French society back then. We're talking the Bourbon Restoration, 1814 to 1830.
That whole conservative period after Napoleon, right? Trying to turn back the clock.
Exactly. And we follow Julien, who starts with, well, basically nothing.
Yeah.
And he tries to climb that social ladder using his brains, hard work, and sometimes, let's be honest, some pretty calculated moves.
And the title, The Red and the Black, that's not just random colors, is it? It feels really key.
Oh, absolutely key. Most obvious meaning points to the uniforms. Black for the church, red for the army. See, under Napoleon, a sharp guy like Julien could make his name in the military, the red uniform. But in this Restoration era, things changed.
The old guard was back in charge.
Right. So suddenly, the church, the black robes, that becomes the main way up for someone without family connections. Maybe the only way.
So these two paths laid out for him, but I remember reading, wasn't there another layer to the title? Something about chance.
Yes, exactly. Some critics think red and black also hints at that popular card game, Rouge et Noir, like roulette almost. It suggests that maybe it's not all about Julien's choices. Maybe luck, fate, just the turn of a card plays a massive part in where he ends up in this, frankly, quite hypocritical society.
Okay, so strategy versus luck. That sets up his whole journey, really.
It really does. And that journey is, well, it's quite something.
It is. Julien is so smart, so driven, but he learns fast that talent alone won't cut it. He's constantly, performing, putting on an act to get by in these circles he actually kind of despises.
Like his early ambition with the church.
Yeah. He pretends to be deeply religious, right? Not because he believes it, but he sees the black robes as his ticket. He studies Latin like crazy, but it's a tool, a strategy, not about finding faith.
And this is where Stendhal was just revolutionary. He's seen as a pioneer of the psychological novel because he lets us right inside Julien's head. We hear his thoughts, feel his conflicting emotions, see the gears turning in that calculating mind.
You really feel like you're in there with him.
Totally. And you see that idea of mimetic desire playing out.
Yeah.
It's when you want something mainly because other people want it or because society says it's valuable. Julien doesn't always want the job or the status for itself. He wants it because it means something in other people's eyes. Stendhal just nails that human tendency.
That makes so much sense. And this desire, this performance, it leads him into that really intense affair with Madame de Renal, the mayor's wife.
And later with Mathilde de la Mole, the aristocratic intellectual.
Right. These relationships, they seem like a mix of genuine feeling, maybe, but also ambition, a desire to conquer.
Definitely complex motivations. And it all spirals, doesn't it? It escalates until that really dramatic moment where Julien, feeling utterly betrayed, shoots Madame de Renal.
She survives, miraculously, but that act seals his fate. It leads straight to his trial and, ultimately, his execution.
Which brings up a big question. Why does this story, so rooted in its time, still grab us so powerfully today? I mean, André Gide famously called it a novel ahead of its time, almost for the 20th century.
Because it feels so modern.
I think so. That unflinching look at ambition, class, hypocrisy, the sheer inner turmoil of someone fighting against society's constraints. It resonates. Stendhal was dissecting things way back then that we still grapple with.
It's no wonder it influenced so many people. You mentioned Sartre, Joyce Carol Oates. Even Al Gore apparently calls it his favorite book.
Yeah, quite a range.
And get this, it was actually burned in Brazil in 1964, seen as subversive.
Wow, really shows its power, doesn't it? And think of all the adaptations, films, TV series, even musicals all over the world.
So what's the takeaway for us listening now? What does it all mean?
Well, I think The Red and the Black really forces you to look at that timeless clash. Individual desire versus the structures of society. It makes you ask yourself, how much do we play a role to get ahead? How much are our own desires shaped by what others value?
Yeah. How much of our own lives, maybe like Julian's, is a deliberate plan, a strategy, versus just a gamble? Determined by the red and black forces of our own situation, our own luck. What hidden costs might we be paying right now trying to fit in or chasing success? Something to think about.